So, good morning, everyone. And yesterday we have seen a lot about Postman, how we can write test cases in Postman, all those stuff. We'll also take one more scenario today. Like we have been dealing with only the request.in yesterday. So this has some, this is just a dummy API, so it is not that good. So what we do when we created a post, the ID that is getting generated, we could not pass this to another. So we could not pass this to update request. So I could not explain you guys what is request response chaining. So what is request response chaining? Okay, it's something like you get the results. Okay, you get some value from here, maybe ID or job or whatever, and then pass it on to another request. So the output of this particular response will be needed to run this particular request. So in our case, it's the ID which is here, but this is not working that correctly with the request.in. That's absolutely fine. This is just a dummy API. Okay, so we don't have to worry about it. We will create a new dummy API ourselves using some node modules, and we'll use it today. And we'll also learn about how to create reporting, what is monitoring, what is Newman reporter, HTML extra reporter, all those things we're going to see it today. But before that, we need to understand one important concept that is called as mocking. Okay, so this is the one that we are working. So client send the response, server sends you the client send the request, server sends you the response back. So this is a normal scenario, right? But imagine you have two systems that's involved here. Let's keep it as the same example, make my trip and Indigo. Okay, but there is a new requirement now. Okay, these guys have arrived at a new requirement, and MMT has Make My Trip has already done their job. Okay, they already have done their development, but Indigo is telling, okay, we need few more days, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks to complete that development. Okay, in those cases, these MMT testers needs to test those API. Okay, whatever the API that the developers have developed, these guys need to test it. But Indigo is not available. How will you do the testing? So in those cases, what these people do, they will create a new server, Mark server, which going to mimic the behaviors of Indigo. Okay, whatever the response, we have already made the agreement, right, between Make My Trip and Indigo. So Make My Trip already know what sort of response this Indigo guys will give. So these testers, what they do, they point their client to receive the request from the Mark server. So you can set up a server that's going to, okay, mimic like Indigo, okay, until Indigo is available. Okay, so this is called as Mark server, and you can mark any servers, any response. Okay, whatever the response you want to do, you can mark all of that. The reason we call it as Mark server is because we are going to mimic the behavior of a real server. So it's like marking, right? So that's why we call it as Mark server. Okay, there are plenty of ways to create a Mark server. Okay, you can use Postman to create a Mark server. There are a lot of node modules available. Okay, you can use Spring, you can use Makitos. Okay, lot of libraries available to create Mark servers. Okay, whatever that you feel comfortable and relevant, you can use it. In our use case, we'll see about how we can use this in Postman, but for now we'll pick one of the node modules and then we'll try to use that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, basically we want to use some node modules. So for that, you need to download one software, that is Node.js download. Okay, you go here. If you want to work with any of the node modules, you need the Node.js. For me, it's a Windows operating system, so you can choose the Windows installer and then you download it. Okay, in my case, I already download that, and once you download this, just double click on it, it will install everything for you. Okay, very simple. So even if you want to see, I have a bunch of softwares sitting inside my here. So this, you notice there will be note. This is the one that I am trying to install. So you just double click it, it will install all these things for you. Okay, so once this is done, you can see in the environment variables, it will automatically add the environment variable for you. So go to the environment variables, and if you go to the path, okay, there will be something called as C++ program files Node.js, and this is the location where by default the Node.js will get installed, and the path will also be set. Okay, if you go to that particular location, okay, just copy this, and if you go to this particular location, sorry guys, I'm using CD positional. Okay, whatever. So let's go manually see program files Node.js. Okay, so if you notice, this is where all these things are there. So the npm is one which is called as node package manager, which is what going to help us to download all the stuff. In case of Java, we use pom.xml, where we we add all the dependencies there. So the maven will help us to download all the related jar files. The same way here npm is going to do the help for us. Okay, so wherever, once you do all this installation, once the path is set, you can open your terminal, and then you can type node hyphen version. Okay, once you do the setup, you can see the version here. Okay, if you get this version, that means your node is installed correctly. Now you are good to go, and start installing all the packages that you need. Okay, good. Now our intention is to create a new server. Okay, we are bored of using regress.in, so we are going to create a new server ourselves. Okay, there are already developers who have worked who have worked and then produced some way to create a server. Okay, so I will also give you one link that you can follow to create this. Okay, so this guy is telling create a REST API with JSON server. Okay, it's a very simple way to create REST API. So we're going to do that. So first thing what he is telling us, install JSON server. You just need to type in this command. That's it, as simple as that. Just copy this, paste it here. Okay, npm. I'll tell you what this command stands for. -g JSON-server. Okay, npm means node package manager. I want to install something. -g indicates I want to install it with a privileged access, and JSON server is the node module that I'm trying to install. Just hit on enter. In my case, it is already installed, so maybe it will check for the updates. And if there are any more updates, it'll download it. Otherwise, okay, let's wait for some time. Okay, so if it just updated one package, in my case, in your case, it will download a lot of things. No worries, it will download. It might take few minutes, but it will be done in some time. Okay, once you do this, okay, now the second step is that you need to create a JSON file. What I have done, I have chosen a folder. Okay, I have created a folder myself called JSON server, and then I have created a db.json file. Guys, notice this is a JSON file. If you edit this information, see, it has something like this. Okay, it has employees array. Okay, and then wrapped inside a JSON object. Okay, so in our case, we are going to send or create employee, update employee, put up, get employee detail, and then at the end delete employee. So all these operations we are going to do, CRUD operations on this employees database. Okay, so this is the simple JSON file. I will also give it to you, this JSON file. Okay, you create this JSON file manually and then store it here. Okay, and store it in particular location. In this particular location, okay, in this particular location, go and then open the terminal or your command prompt, whatever you have, and then just type this particular statement: JSON-server -watch db.json. Okay, so this -watch indicates, suppose if I create a new employee, this will get added into this particular list, so that when you are again trying to fetch a employee detail of 350 ID, it will give you back this particular ID. Okay, so that's the beauty about using this as a persistent storage. Okay, this will store all the data that you are posting, and then it will act accordingly. So this db.json is the heart. Okay, and then this JSON server is going to watch its changes. Okay, continuously watch its changes. Okay, and hit on enter. Very simple. Now it is telling, hey, your setup is done. Okay, now it went to listening mode. So it is telling, okay, you can go to this particular local host and you can start hitting it. Okay, now there are two things to understand. In case of regress.in, okay, this is not hosted in my machine. Okay, this URL is basically some other IP machine. They have converted into a DNS address and then we are accessing it. But in our case, this particular whole thing is running inside my machine. So you don't have a problem of proxy issues. Suppose the regress.in may not be accessible from your office machines. You cannot practice it. But in these cases, it is available in my local host within the machine itself. So I get a faster response. Plus there is no, firewall, all those issues. Okay. So now let's open the local host here. Don't worry about the details of this particular link and all. I will share along with the today's full video. Okay, so now it is telling you have all these operation you can do: get, post, put, patch, delete, and options. You can use any of these. Okay, now let's click on this employees. So if you notice, /employees is basically giving me all the employee details. Now I go here, I create a new collection. Okay, JSON server collection. We are going to be little quick because we already learned about all these things. Okay, so let's create a new request here, add a request, and this request is going to be get employees, all the employees. Okay, and this is the endpoint. Copy this, paste it here, hit it. Okay, good. We are getting all the results. Okay, maybe I'll add a simple test here. Okay, status code is 200, is more than enough for now. Okay, now I'll add one more request, that is add employee. I'm going to add a new employee, and this is the endpoint again. This is going to be a post call. The body raw JSON. I want to get an employee detail. Maybe I'll copy any of the resource for the format. Okay, ID is something that I can generate randomly. So what I can do, basically I can generate it randomly, random int. Okay, here I am using the one that is coming from Postman. Okay, because this will generate from 0 to 1000. So in our case, there is no restriction like you need to generate from 1 to 12. So I'm directly using this. If you have some restrictions, then you can go to the prerequisite tab, script tab, and then use that Ladash library to create a number from 1 to 12, and then you can do it. Okay, first name, again I have already the option. So / first name, just say first name, and then last name. We have all these capabilities from Postman. That's why Postman is very powerful. Last name, email address, again random email. Okay, that's it guys. So now we have this ready. Once I hit on send, okay, now it generated 729. Okay, let's go here. If you notice, this modified. Yes, now this JSON file is getting updated. So now a new employee is getting inserted here. Okay, good. Let's go to the test case, and we will also validate whether it is a successful post request. Okay, so if you guys notice, you can also validate whether it is one of among these lists. Okay, 201 or 202, because some servers return 201 for successful. In this case it is 201, but some servers can also return 202. That's why they are mentioned 201 or 202. Anything will be treated as a pass. Okay, now we have created a new employee. Then what we want to do, we want to get this employee detail and then verify. Maybe add a new request, and then what I'm going to do, get particular employee detail, only one employee detail. Okay, employee detail. Now this is the endpoint. Control copy, and / path parameters in the, I can use ID. So this ID I need to fetch it from here. Okay, this is the ID that we generated. Now we're gonna fetch this ID and then pass it on to this particular request. Okay, good. How to do that? So we have something called as set a collection variable. You can set a collection variable here. Set a collection variable. Guys, I'm going little fast. Please stop me if you feel it is very fast, because I have already covered this in request collection. So I'm going little fast so that it can be also like your revision. Okay, otherwise please let me know. Okay, ID and the value, I'm going to fetch it from this particular JSON file. Okay, this is a very simple JSON, so I can directly use .id. Okay, so here you can remove this pm.response.json. Okay, this is where I get my JSON. .id will fetch me the ID value. Okay, Now I'm storing this in a collection variable called ID. Here, this ID, I can just mention ID. This is coming from your collection. Okay. Now you hit this request, it created a new ID. And if you go to the collection level variables, it would have created ID as 245. If I again hit this particular, here the ID will be 245 and it will fetch you the values of this particular employee. Okay, this is how you can do the request response chaining. So whatever the response we get from the post request, we are getting it back, we are storing it in variable, and then we are using it in the consequent requests. Now this is done. Now I want to do some update operation. Okay, let's add a new request, and this is your update employee. I want to update the same employee that what I generated before. So what I can do, I can basically copy this /ID. This is a path parameter for put, and ID is again stored in a collection variable. I can still use that. Okay, that's it. In the body raw JSON, I want to construct a new body. Okay, so for now, just copy it from the post request. And just the ID alone, I don't want to change. Let it be there. Okay, whatever the ID that we have before, let it be there. Okay, so other things will be created randomly. This will be fetched from the collection variable. So we don't want to update the ID. We just want to update all other fields. Okay, good. This is done. We are good with the updating. So let's try to run it. So now the 245 is updated with Russian and Schoolist, whatever. So whatever the name, it feel comfortable. It has created that and updated it. At the end of the day, I also want to add one more request, that is delete employee. For the delete employee, again, the endpoint is almost the same, but this time the call is going to be delete call, and no headers, no body, nothing. So you just hit on send. It's basically giving me back 404 because we haven't told what is the ID. ID is this. Use it from the collection. Okay. Now if I hit, so it's giving me 200 back. Maybe you can add a test case here. Maybe I'll add this particular test case. Maybe less than 1000 seconds, 1000 milliseconds. Some test case so that I can explain you something. So in the update employee also, I want to verify whether there is a status code is 200. This is okay. Get employee detail again. Status is 200. Again, guys, you can add multiple, you know, assertions, but I have already covered that. So I'm not doing it. Just for sample, I'm adding 1 or 2 collections. Okay. Good. So this is done. So we have almost created all the stuff. Now I want to generate and run it in a form of collection runner. So what do you mean by that? Which means, see, I want to my test case is something. First I want to test. Okay, I want to send this. I want to see, okay, these are all the things that is already having. I want to post a new employee. Okay, create a new employee. Okay, now I want to copy this. Okay, and then I want to run this. Okay, I'm checking, okay, this is fine, everything is good, and I'm going to update the same employee. I'm again sending. Okay, but I'm doing all these things manually. Okay, all these things are I have to click all these things almost 5 times. But what if there is a way that all this runs on its own? Okay, then just click on this 3 dots, run the collection. Now it is telling you it'll execute in this particular order. First it'll get all the employee details, then it'll create a new employee, then it'll get that particular employee detail. It'll also update that particular employee, delete. So this is the order it's going to execute. If you want to change the order, you can change the order here, or there is also other way. We will also see about that. But if you don't want to execute some of the tests, then you can also remove like this. Okay, you can remove it. So the unchecked ones will not be run. Okay, but in my case, I want to run all of these, so no problems. And if you notice how many times you want to run, okay, basically this is 1 iteration, so that's okay. And if you want to delay between each request, so after hitting this request, do you want to delay it sometimes? Okay, maybe I want to delay by 500 milliseconds. Okay, we'll come to the file later, but for now just click on run JSON server collection. Okay, once you click on this, it will automatically execute it for you. So if you notice, there is almost 5 test cases. See, this one here indicates there are one test case in each of these cases. Okay, so this is the first iteration, all ran. So click on run again. So you can basically run it for you. Okay, good. Again, if you want to export these results, this will be available in the form of JSON, but that is not worthy. So we will find other ways to get a good results. Okay, but for now, just understand we have collection runner option, which you can use it to run it. Okay, but again, I need to come and then click on this, right? Basically, instead of that, what I can do, there is something called as monitors. Okay, go to monitors. I want to run this 5 test. Okay, every 5 minutes or every 1 hour, I want to run this. How will I do that? That's when the monitors comes into picture. Okay, guys, let me take a break here, and let me open the forum for the questions. Guys, if you have any doubts, please let me know now.
Amutan, just query.
Yeah,
Say, if you were to, the first query is we are trying to insert a record.
yeah.
Can we have a get query and take an output from that and put it into our next one
Yeah,
for update or delete?
yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Since the ID is just same, I just fetched it from here and used it in all the places. But in your case, if there is a need, you just need to get it from the get employee detail and then update it there.
Okay.
Okay, so if you want, after this get call, maybe if you want to get it from this value, you just get it from the test tab. You just get the response, get the ID back, and then store it again in the collection. Okay. Okay, so since the ID is same across all these operations, I just stored it in one time and then used all the places. But in real time scenario, like you mentioned, it will be like each request will need a response from the previous request, a value of from the response from the previous request. That's why I told about response chaining. Okay, so you should be in a position to understand that and then store it in some particular collection and then use it. Okay, any other doubts?
Yeah, Amutan, like let's say our first test case has been failed. So the
Okay,
first request has been failed. So will that like the other will depend on the first one?
yeah, because in our case we have the test case itself like that. Okay, so instead, suppose if you don't post a new employee. Okay, hello,
Yes, yes, Amutan.
if you don't post, if you don't create a new employee, suppose if this fails, okay, then all other subsequent will be failed because you won't be getting the ID back. Okay, if the ID is not there, then this get put delete and all will not work. Okay, so this is just a sample API. Okay, so you don't have to worry too much about it, but yeah.
Okay, and let's say if we have made independence, so that like the first test case fail will not like affect the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's entirely up to you.
Okay,
But
okay,
this is
Amutan.
just a sample. I'm just telling you what are the different options available, what are the different features provided by Postman to you, to your purpose. Okay, you decide based upon your project requirements. You decide what you need to do. Okay, good. Now you can also create a monitor. Okay, I don't want to run it myself. I don't want to come here, click on run. Okay, I don't want to do that. I want Postman to do it. Okay, that's why we have monitors. Okay, a monitor lets you to run a collection periodically to check for its performance or response. Okay, very good. So create a monitor. That's it, guys. Okay, I'm telling. Okay, JSON server monitor. What is the collection? Okay, JSON server collection. What is the tag? Suppose if you have an environment, then you can also choose this. Maybe we can also create an environment. So for now, let's assume I have this guy. Okay, now I'll create a new environment. Okay, let's name this environment JSON server local. Okay, something like this. Okay, now in this environment, I can create a variable that is URL, and the value is basically HTTP. I can get it from here. Okay, copy it and paste it. Now I can go and replace it everywhere so that if there is a future change, okay, there is a reason why I am doing this. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, now we can go to the monitors. Okay, good. Now I go to the monitors again. I'll create a new monitor. This time JSON server monitor, share a collection, JSON server collection. Okay, this is just a version tag. You can just use the version tag, but for now I just leave it like that. And I'm choosing an environment for this, in which environment variable I want to use, JSON server local. Okay, when you want to run this, okay, maybe you can choose hour timer. Okay, every hour you want to run this. Okay, that's fine. From which region you want to hit this request. Okay, you can select, if you want to manually select only from this particular region, I want to hit this particular request. You can also do that, but for now I am just automatically select the region. I will leave it like that, and I want to receive the failures notification to my email address. Okay, if you want to add another email, you can use it here, but you can also tell if you want to retry if the run fails. Okay, this might affect your building, so I'm not using it, but other things are free. Okay, so don't just do this. If you have a licensed version, then you can do it. Okay, now let's create this monitor. This will automatically, it's like a Jenkins. Okay, it will automatically run your test case every 1 hour. So but now, for now, I just want to check whether it is working, so I can click on run. So there is five failed tests, 17 across one region. So there is a failure here. So let's see what's the failure. Okay, it is telling local host. Did any mistake? Employees.
Environment is in production, I guess.
Okay, but let's try to run it again then. No, this is something. Localhost 3000. This is correct. Okay, it's very strange. It is working here. Okay, whatever. Okay, let's replace this again back. Some issues. Let's go to the collection, replace all of them. I don't know why it is not working, but we are using the same thing. Okay, it shouldn't be a problem. I don't know whether it is a bug from their end. So let's see.
We are having double slashes everywhere in the post.
It shouldn't be a problem actually, but yeah, we can change it. That shouldn't be a big problem. Okay, it will work still. But for your understanding, we also do. Okay, now let's close all tabs and let's go to the monitors. Click on this monitor, click on run again. Okay, this, oh, is this the problem? Okay, guys, I know what is the issue now. So if you notice, the local host that we are trying to hit is basically my IP address. I need to actually give my IP address because it cannot find the IP address, right? So if you have used this monitor in a request collection, it would have worked. Okay, maybe that's what the issue is. Okay, let's go here. This is my mistake. Let's create another monitor for request collection. Okay, that will work. Okay, I actually got the issue, request collection. So select the collection, request collection, environment is basically prod, and our timer is fine. Continue. Because we have something at the local, right? So local host, I need to convert that into an IP. Again, it will take time. So that's why I created a regular collection. Let's try to run it now. This should work. You can also see the console logs. Come on, come on. Why it is not working? Okay. Maybe we'll see this later. I don't know. It should work. It's a very simple thing. At least in the previous case, it was throwing some errors, but now it is not throwing some errors as well. So let's clear all this. Okay, now it is worked. Good. Good. So now the issue was previously I was giving localhost. Localhost, it doesn't know what is the localhost, right? So it was sending requests from some other place. Okay, so it doesn't know what is localhost. So I need to actually convert that localhost into my machine IP and then give that machine IP. That takes time. That's why I have given the demo using this request collection. Okay, basically it automatically does this for you. Okay, it will run every 1 hour and then it will give you the results back. If you want to run it manually, you can also choose this. Okay, so this is the help of monitors. Okay, suppose in your company someone is asking, maybe your product owner is telling, hey, I want to check whether my product website is available every 5 minutes. Then in case of, if you are a Selenium automation tester, what you need to do, you need to create a Maven project, you need to do a lot of stuff. Okay, you need to write a code, we need to open the browser, we need to load the URL, then we need to get the title, validate it, and then we'll tell, okay, it is working fine. Again, to schedule this every 5 minutes, you need to use Jenkins. Again, lot of complexity involved, but imagine you just have this. Okay, it's very easy, right? You just create one request, hit your URL, get the 200, assert the 200 response back, create a monitor for that. All things are done within 1 minute. You can tell your product owner you can do this. Guys, I am telling you what are all the things that we can do. You need to imagine what are all the use case that is applicable for your project. Okay, start doing these kind of innovations, small innovations, but they will be really appreciated. Okay, that's why these tools comes in handy. Okay, even though you know rest assured it will be a little complex, you again need to create a lot of things. That's why tools like Postman, SoapUI, they are so much powerful. Okay, good. We have learned about all these things. Now we also learn one more thing. We'll go to the regress collection. Here there is a new requirement. Okay, I want to, in the post request, basically we are, in the put request, we are basically generating another random value. But here I don't want to generate another random value. I want these data to be coming from my Excel sheet, because this is an export from my DB. I want to use some particular data. I don't want the random data. In these cases, what you can basically do, you can drive this from the CSV file. Okay, let's remove this and give some names like first name. Okay, this is my last name. Maybe we'll assume that our first name and last name needs to be coming from database. The email ID and ID and all, it's okay. Okay, these two has to come from database. So what I have already done, I have created that already. So a CSV file, a very simple CSV file, first name, last name. So the header needs to exactly match. This is F name, L name. Here also, if you notice, F name, L name, exactly they should match. Okay, and then the email ID. So if you notice, the email ID is it's getting generated randomly. If you want to also pass this from CSV, you can also create something like email here and give the email fields here. Okay, now I want to run this whole thing 3 times, because there are 3 data: Amol Shaktivel, Sachin Tendulkar, Cristiano Ronaldo. So there are 3 data. So I want this to be run 3 times. So we are actually doing data driven testing. So you can create it in Excel, then and you can save it as a CSV file if you don't know how to edit the CSV file. Okay, good. Now let's close this. So this value will now be picked from Excel sheet. The only criteria is the name of this and the header in the CSV should match. Okay, that is the only one criteria. Okay, good. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this collection. But while running the collection, I'm going to choose a data file. So click on select file, choose this file. Okay, then now if you notice, it is a CSV file. the iteration is automatically getting changed to 3 because it knows there is 3 values that you have given in the CSV. So it will run this all the 5 API requests 3 times, each time using the value from this. Okay, you can also click on preview, and this is the value that it have understood. For a first iteration, it will use first name as this, last name as this. Second iteration like that. Okay, so this basically understand all your information. So now click on run JSON server collection. This time the first request. So guys, this is the first iteration, second iteration, third iteration. Okay, so all these things you have the results. Okay, you have each have their own assertions, all of them got passed. Okay, if there is a failure, it will also mark a red color here. Okay, so that's the beauty about using Postman. Okay, good. So
Then can't we use .xlsx file?
XLSX file they don't support, it seems. Okay, if you go here and if you click on run collection, okay, they don't support it. I tried using Excel, but it didn't work. The only thing is, who have asked the question, just store it as a
Abhishek.
CSV file. Abhishek, just store it as a CSV file. If you create everything in an Excel sheet, okay, then just save it as a CSV file. That's it. You can convert CSV to Excel, Excel to CSV very easily. Okay, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
Good. So that's all about this runner. But still, we haven't created a very beautiful report. Okay, that's what we are going to do now. So for that, we need one more node modules. Again, guys, this is the one that we started the JSON server. Okay, all the requests, what and all you are hitting, will be all be recorded. What is the time? What is the status code that it replied? Everything will be listening by this particular server, JSON server. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new Windows terminal, and I want to download one more thing called as Newman. Newman is again a node module package. So what I have to do basically, npm install -g Newman. npm is node package manager. Install means I want to install it. -g privileged access. Newman is a node is a library that I want to install. Okay, just click on enter. It'll install it all these things for you. Okay. So basically, first you need to install Node.js, second the JSON server, then the Newman. So for in my case, it's already there. So it just updated only one package. After that, you just write Newman. If you get some response like this, then it is installed successfully. Okay. Now it will give you option to run the Postman collection. Okay. Let's go here. In this collection, just click on this and then share the collection. Suppose I want to share it with you guys. Okay, either I can add you guys to my workspace, or I can directly give you one URL that you can run from your Postman. Okay, or I can give you a public link. Okay, so I want to get a public link. Just copy this. Okay, and then I can give it to you guys. Okay, you can use this to run it. Okay, Newman run, and then this particular one. Okay, that's it, guys. So Newman run this particular collection. Okay, click on enter. Okay, good. All the tests got ran. So get employees, add employee, everything is done. But if you notice, it is ran only one time because we didn't tell the CSV file is there. Okay, so in order to run it 3 times, which means you want to also tell there is a CSV file. So -d. Okay, basically that CSV file is located inside this testy folder. So it's inside the testy folder only. So you can directly use -d data.csv. Okay, this is a file that I want to use. Okay, just run it. Okay, it is telling it's not available. So maybe tested. Okay, this tested.csv, not data.csv. So just change the name to test.csv. If you notice, it's running 3 iterations now. Okay, 15 requests, 15 test scripts. There is no prerequisite scripts, assertions, 15 assertions, all of them got passed. But still, this is okay. But this is not a HTML report that I can share it to my clients or product owners. So for that, we also need one more library. So there is something called as HTML extra. Okay, HTML extra, just search like this. Okay, Now, if you notice, this is a command. Okay, just copy this command that you want to run. So the name of this module is Newman-reporter-HTML extra. Okay, npm again the same thing. npm install -g, same thing. Okay, just copy this whole stuff. Enter here. First install it. In my case, it's already installed, so it will just update the packages if there is any. So once you are done with this, it is also getting installed. Now you can use the same previous old command, but this time just to add one more extra -r, which means I want to use an external reporter. Okay, that reporter name is HTML extra. That's it. Okay, very simple. Newman.
And what is the like -d here and like
-d is for data source. Okay, while you are running this collection, okay, don't just run the collection, you also consider using the data source, that is test.csv file. Okay, because we want to run this 3 times, right?
yeah, let's say it is in a different folder location. That time, how we will provide the path?
Then you can give the entire path, the full path, C users, all this full path. But what I recommend is keep everything inside a single folder so that you don't have to worry about the paths. Okay. Okay, and then -r indicates reporter. I'm not okay with having the command line report. I want a external HTML extra, that is HTML report. Okay, now if you click on enter, it'll run all these things and it'll generate the report for you in HTML format. Now it's really created the HTML extra report. Okay, it would have created a new folder called Newman. Just search with Newman. Okay, just click on this. That's it, guys. Okay, so if you notice, this report is much more beautiful. You have light theme, dark theme, and then we have total of 3 iteration, 15 assertions, everything. Okay, now you want the individual request, go to the request tab. So there are 3 iteration here: first iteration, second iteration, third iteration. First iteration, get employees. Okay, click on this. What is the get call you made? What is the request URL that you hit? What is the response code? What is the time it took? Okay, everything. What is the pass percentage? What is the headers that you passed? What is the headers that you received? What is the response you received? Everything is now consolidated here. Okay, you want to copy it, you can copy it from here. What is the assertions that you made? Suppose if you increase the assertions, all those assertions will be there. In my case, I'm just doing only one assertions, but yeah, all those information, what is the random data it generated? Okay, it is the random data generated. In the update employee, it would have used the values. So see amudan.saktivel. So this is the value that we feed it from the CSV file. So all these things, see, very beautiful HTML reports. We didn't even write a single line of code. Okay, not even you need a programming knowledge. You don't need anything. Okay, you just need to download related packages. You just need to make sure that they are working. Okay, good. Nice. If you want to expand all of this, you can also use that. Okay, very good. Now this HTML, you can copy it and then send it to whoever you want. Okay, you can attach in an email and then send it to them. Okay, you haven't written a single line of code. If you are a manual tester, you are not confident with automation. Okay, then this is a perfect way to do automation. You don't need to do coding. Okay, you can do monitoring, you can do documentation, you can do all these things without even knowing a single line of code. That's the power of using Postman. Okay,
monitoring as well, we can prepare this kind of report.
Yeah, see, maybe for monitoring will run within the Postman itself. You can use Jenkins and you can integrate this with whatever the command that you ran here. Okay, whatever the command that you have ran here, you can create it as a batch command inside a Jenkins, and then you can schedule it. Okay, if you want an external reporter. Well, but monitor is something that that's available within the Postman collection itself. Okay. Now I can copy this, I can send it to you guys in the Zoom chat. Okay, you can also try to import this collection and then run it in your particular machine. It will work. And if you want to run it via Postman, okay, I can give this. Okay, they are giving you what and all things that you need to do if you want to run the same thing in a Postman itself. Okay, good. That's all about it, guys. So we can also share it, this collection. I have already shared this Zoom chat. Okay, maybe I'll also ping it in the WhatsApp chat, so you can also have import this and then try to run all of them. Okay, we have few more things like documentation and marking using the Postman. Okay, we will learn about it maybe another day, but for now, important thing is you need to sure how we can send all these requests. Okay, how we can do the assertions, how we can produce the Newman reports, how we can integrate with HTML extra. Again, HTML extra is having a lot of options, guys. Okay, it's not just that you just mention HTML extra. That is not, there are a lot of things that it can support. Okay, so you need to go through it and then you can understand it. Okay, there are a lot of options. Suppose you want to have a different template, you can also use that. Suppose you want to only show the fails, okay, you are not relevant to create a report for past ones, then you can pass extra parameters like that. We passed just a hyphen r HTML extra, but instead of that you can also only show only fails. If you just pass this parameter, it will only show the fails. Okay, so if you want to change the browser title, then you can use my Newman report as a browser title parameter. Okay, so all these informations you can go through over it and then use whatever you feel relevant. Okay, that's all about Postman, how we can generate automation tests using Postman, how we can create beautiful reports using Postman. Okay, any other doubts you guys can ask me now. Guys, any doubts? Okay, either you guys understood everything or you didn't understood anything. Okay, let's see some chat here.
Actually, on doubt.
Yeah.
To create the collection, we have only two ways, right? One, it is like manually, or it is like through code snippets. But here we have used only the body only, right? So how it's like finally created the collection?
Sorry, I missed you, Durai. What do you meant?
No, for creating the collection, you
Okay.
said only two ways, right? One is to manually create the collection, or using the code snippets, right?
No, that's not collections. That's about variables. Variables, we have two ways to create. Either you go to the collection level and then create it, or you go to the global level and create it here. Okay, that, or you can create it via test scripts. Okay, you can go to this particular tab in the prerequisite script or test tab. You can create and store the collection variables.
Okay.
Okay, if I have to share this collection with you, I can also share it in the form of a public URL, or I can also share it in the form of JSON file. That JSON file is not coming here. Okay, just a minute. Or so you click this, share. Okay, this again. Maybe they deprecated that. Previously, there is a way to share this in the form of JSON file so that you guys can import it. Because now it's not showing this. Okay. Maybe they removed that option. Don't know. Okay, but anyways, if you have anything, then you can use this import tab. Okay, you can, if it is a file, you can use it and then click on that file, import the JSON file. Folder, then you can also import that folder. If I give the link, okay, what are the link that I shared, just click on import here, click on link, and then click the entire URL here, paste the entire URL, click on continue, it will import it for you. Okay, good. So that's the easiest way to import all these things. Suppose even if I want to export my environment, let's say I want to export this. Okay, then you can click on these three dots, exports. This will now get exported. Okay, maybe I'll choose .json file. Okay, and it will be available in my desktop. So if you notice, this is a JSON file. Now I can share this JSON file with you guys. Okay, now what you can do in your machine, so you can go here, click on import. Okay, choose the file that I shared. Okay, maybe it's in the desktop. Okay, choose this file, click on. Now it is automatically understand it's a Postman collection. Okay, I want to import it. So this is the way. So this is the request collection that I want to export. Okay, click on import. So now it will also tell a collection, regress collection already exists. You want to import it? No, I don't want it. So let's cancel it. Okay, maybe you have to. So you have to choose these three dots. Okay, and then you have to click on export. But it should actually export a environment variable. So okay, some problems here. We have messed up a lot of things, guys. Okay, when I do an export, it should have actually exported the environment variables, but it's actually exporting me the collection. There is some problems, I don't know. They have done a lot of changes. Okay, it has exported the whole collection itself. Maybe I am seeing the wrong folder. Just a minute, guys. Export. Okay, it's exporting to the desktop board. It's a prod Postman environment. Okay. Click on imports, upload files. Where is my desktop? Environment.json. Now this is exporting the environment. Maybe I have referred the long file there. Okay, so just if it is also mentioning what is the name of that, it is a Postman format is environment. Okay, you can export environments, you can export collections, everything you can export, and then you can import it as environment, and then click on import. Okay, it will import it for you. That's all about Postman, guys. We have few more topics that I'll cover on Wednesday. You guys practice more on this. Okay, you can also explore a lot of things. If you have any doubts, there is a tab here that is bootcamp. Okay, if you don't know how to create monitors, okay, or how if you want to learn how to design and marking APIs, then you can choose this. Suppose in my case, I want to learn how to do API documentation, then you can do this. If you want to know how to create monitoring, then you can do this. So for now, let's assume I want to do monitoring. I can click on this. Okay, it is telling, okay, let's restart. You have already that in progress. You want to restart? Yeah, I want to do the restart. I want to start from everything from the scratch. So it is telling import a collection. We need a collection for you to learn the skill. Okay, import. It's all done. So everything is done. Now what else we want to do? Click here to view the collection actions. Okay, just click on this, and then here monitor the collection. Okay, instead of going to monitors and create the collection, you can go to the collection and also create the monitors. Okay, monitor collection. Okay, give a name. Okay, give a name like this. So maybe some name. Okay, then next. Okay, it'll basically tell what you want to do, where you want to run it. Okay, I want to only run on Monday to Friday. Click on next. Now it is telling, okay, click here to monitor. Click on this create. Okay, so it will basically give you list of steps that you need to follow to create something. Okay, you don't have to go search in YouTube or all stuff. This boot camp is very powerful. That will tell you all these informations. Okay, good, guys. So I see a chat here. This is great. Yes, guys, Postman is very powerful. Before learning REST assured, I don't know why people are very much interested in REST assured, but Postman is really powerful. Okay, in REST assured, you need to write a lot of code to generate HTML report. Here is just one line statement, one import statement. Everything gets generated on its own. Okay, if you have a condition, okay, where you want to integrate with Selenium, or you want to interact more with the databases, then you can choose REST assured. Otherwise, choose Postman, integrate with Newman and HTML extra reporter. You get a better results than REST assured. Okay, in REST assured, creating a 700 test case might take a lot of time, but in case of Postman, okay, for 700 test case, you can generate it in 5 days or 6 days. Okay, and also it's powerful. Developers also will like it. Okay, if you go and create them in a REST assured library, they don't like it because again they may use different PHP or other programming languages. Okay, so if you're using Postman, they already know how to use Postman. If you tell them, okay, I can use test tabs to create schema validations, test tab to write, create some test cases. You can just use this monitors to monitor all this. They will be interested in yourself. Then, if you have good skill set, okay, to impress developers, and then that's when you get your respect. Okay, otherwise, they will treat manual testers in a different way. That's how it works. Okay, anyways, any other doubts? Otherwise, we'll close the session.
Amiran, I just wanted to know, like, how much of a Newman knowledge we should have.
Nothing. Whatever you have learned about Newman, you just need to know how to import, how to install the Newman, how to integrate with HTML extra. That's it. You don't need any other knowledge.
Okay.
Newman is basically for Postman. Okay, they have created this Newman just to run Postman inside a command line. Okay. And then there is one guy who developed, okay, Newman results are only in CLI. I want to have a HTML report for that. So this guy has done some work and given us that HTML extra report. this Newman and HTML extra, when integrated, when we integrate two of them, then it's more powerful. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Anubhav. Amuthan, you will be sharing that how to install that node part, that the document you have.
Okay. That document, right? So maybe I have this here. I'll also share it with you guys. Okay. So this is where the step is. So if you see npm install -g Newman, and then if you face any of these, mostly you will not face this issue. If you face this issue, just execute this particular statement in the command line. And then this is the way to run your collection. Okay. You can also run your collection, without the public URL. You can use JSON file, the exported JSON file also to run it. And then this is a command to install HTML extra, and this is the way that you can run your
And then, Amuthan, I was looking for the first application that employee part. That
that one, yeah, that
mocking
one, right?
servers.
Yeah.
Mocking server.
I'll share that. Yeah, that is also done. So I'll do that. I'll also do that. I'll also do this as well, so that you can guys and practice. Okay. I'll just put it in everything into one notepad file. You can just go through it and then just copy it and use it in your code. Okay. Good. Any other things from anyone? Please, we'll close.
So